Let's move on to Ariana versus Rachel. And then take a quick sip of some tea. Okay. All right. So let's go on. All right. So Rachel Leviss, as we all know, in my personal opinion, the chick is she's pissing me off. Rachel, oh wait, hold on. Rachel, you're pissing me off because in my opinion, I do think she is filing a frivolous lawsuit against Ariana and NBC and Bravo. And this might be an unpopular opinion, but I think it's even frivolous against Tom at this point in time. She's saying that, Tom invaded my privacy and Ariana did revenge porn. And then she had this whole theory in her legal document. And Rachel, I don't know who your lawyers are, but they need to do their due diligence because I caught you in a lie. And I'm going to show, and I'm going to play the receipts. Because if I say that, I'm coming with some receipts. Rachel, you got caught in a lie. See, this is why people shouldn't do podcasts or interviews unless they have their lies ironclad tight. Ariana, if you're listening, call your lawyers because Rachel lying. And we got the receipts. Now, just as a quick overall, in Rachel's lawsuit, she's claiming that Ariana and Tom were in on the whole thing, the whole affair, and that Ariana knew about it and she wanted them to keep it quiet until season 11 so then they could film it and it would be all for the show and that they all orchestrated SCANDOVAL together. That's what she's claiming in the lawsuit. Ariana knew. And they all planned it for SCANDOVAL and they all exploited her. Ariana distributed the little FaceTime, sexy time video that Tom took without her consent, blah, 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 all of that stuff, okay? Now, I already said that don't make any sense. None of that makes any sense. Because number one, do I think Tom filmed her without her consent? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. On that one, I don't know. If he did, then just go after him for invading your privacy. Do your little small claims court. I don't know what you got to do. Whatever, girl. But go after him. When she said that Ariana knew and that everybody knew, and it was supposed to be a storyline for season 11, I said that doesn't make any sense. That just sounds like a straight up lie. Because number one, if that was true, then why did SCANDOVAL break when they weren't filming? Remember? They had stopped filming. The season had wrapped. That's why they had to pick the cameras back up to capture everything that was going on. If Ariana and Tom and all these people knew about it and it was supposed to be a storyline for season 11, then why did the story break when they weren't actually filming? That doesn't make any sense. Also, what doesn't make any sense, if Ariana knew, then why would Sheena, the way that Rachel tells it, why would Sheena punch her in her face over something that Ariana already knew? That doesn't make any sense either. Again, I don't think Sheena pushed her. Maybe she mushed her, pushed her, whatever the hell it was. I don't think she punched her in her face, whatever it was. Why would Sheena have that reaction if Ariana already knew? Also, if Ariana already knew, why would she have to then take the video and send it to Sheena or send it to herself if she already knew? Again, doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. Also, if Ariana already knew and this was just a plan for season 11, why didn't you say that from jump? Why didn't you say that when the cameras picked back up? Why didn't you say that in any of your interviews? Why didn't you say that at the reunion? I'm confused. Why didn't you say that way before? Why would you wait almost a year later when season 11 starts airing to say that they knew about it? wouldn't the first thing out of your mouth when this entire thing happened, wouldn't you say, no, she knew? That would be the first thing out of my mouth. If I'm the side chick and the entire world is hating me, the first thing I would say is, I'm not the side chick. She knew about it. Here are the receipts. So I can't be a mistress if she knows. I can't be the side piece if she co-signed it. This is what happened. And also, why didn't she say that on her big Bethany podcast she did? She never said that at all. So it doesn't make any sense. You see, it doesn't make any sense at all. None of that ever made sense. So, and again, this is what she's claiming in a legal document. But as we know, she has exaggerated on legal documents before. That's why she didn't even show up to the restraining order hearing against Sheena, because she didn't want to be questioned about the authenticity of the documents she submitted for the restraining order. Remember when Sheena still showed up and Rachel and her legal team didn't even show up? And everybody was saying how Rachel was like faking the scars and all that stuff and everything. Girl. So we already know she has no problem blurring the lines when it comes to legal documentation. But this is the thing. She then gets on her own podcast, because she has her little Rachel Goes Road podcast. And this is how I love dumb criminals, because at this point she is a criminal submitting fake legal documents, in my opinion, entertainment only, allegedly, submitting fake documents for a payday and for some clout. To me, that should be a criminal act. I think it is criminal to intentionally do it, right? She got on her own podcast thinking she's doing something, talking about, I'm going to tell everyone who knew about it, about the affair. These are all the people. I'm not going to protect them. They're not protecting me. This is everybody who knew. So this is her own words on her own podcast. I'm going to play it for you guys. And I want you to know if you catch what I caught. Okay? So let's listen.
This video is for Vanderpump Rules watchers. If you're not, keep scrolling. Oh my god, Rachel Leviss woke up and chose violence today. She just released an episode on her podcast naming all the names of people who knew of her and Tom cheating before everybody found out. Let me just play that clip for you.
That I would like to share. But before we get into the episode, I would like to just clear the air a little bit because, well, I suspect that people now know that some of our mutual friends have known about this affair while it was going on. I kind of just want to clear the air on who those people were and whether or not I know for certain that they knew, but there were instances where it was pretty undeniable. So let's go through that list. Obviously, number one is Schwartz. He has known from the very beginning, and we already know that because I've already dropped that bomb. But maybe people don't realize or have suspected, but Kyle Chan has also known, and Kyle Chan has been a good friend of Tom's for quite some time, and he was one of the people that was trying to talk some sense into Tom, but he also kept that secret for him. I just feel like it's a little bit of a double standard to be icing out a certain person for knowing, yet Kyle Chan is still accepted into the group without any consequences. Just throwing that out there. The reason why I bring that up is because, as we know, the last episode that the cast filmed in San Francisco was for Kyle Chan's party, and nobody seems to have an issue with Kyle knowing. Next, Jason Bader is Tom Sandoval's drummer and band manager. You have seen him on Tom Sandoval's podcast. He has also known. It just goes to the double standard of Tom was allowed to tell his best friends, but I wasn't allowed to tell anybody. And if I did, he was not happy with me. So just a reminder to everyone, that is not love. All right, next, Max Boyens. I don't know the extent of what he knew about the affair, but Max Boyens was one of the people that we would meet up with regularly at one of the dive bars by Tom Sandoval's house. And, he didn't ask any questions, but it was an often thing that we would meet up, and it would be hard for me to think that he didn't have an inkling of knowledge that this was going on. This one's a little sus because Tom and I, we were very reckless and stupid, and we decided, oh my God, this is really embarrassing. But basically Tom and I like snuck off. I don't even know if I want to keep these details, but basically Tom and I were cuddling in the social media room, which is downstairs of their house. And there was a party going on. And Ariana's best friend, Logan Cochran, walked into the social media room and he was like, oh, okay. And we were just like cuddling on the floor. We were clothed and everything. There wasn't a blanket or anything. It was just us looking at each other because like it was stupid. I thought I was in love. But Logan walked in on us and then he's like, oh, I'm really messed up. Okay, bye. And then left. And he's Ariana's best friend. So I'm sure that got back to Ariana. You know, like Logan definitely had to have some sort of suspicion that this was going on, because why else would we be cuddling? That's weird. Logan is also really close with Brad. I don't think Brad like really knew the extent of it, but I'm sure as things started coming out, it was like easy to piece these things together. So when I went to St. Louis, I've met Tom's mom before when she came to LA, but this time it was different because he was like bringing me to the house. It honestly felt like I was his girlfriend. Like it was the weirdest thing because obviously I wasn't. He had a girlfriend, but he like brought me to his mom's house and we made food and I slept downstairs in their like basement area and his mom like had the Christmas tree up. And I mean, it was weird. The way that Tom would present things made it feel so normal. So then it's like, oh, maybe I am overthinking this. And like, he had a way to convince me that it's all fine and to normalize it and to like relieve stress. And then we would also drink a lot. So that would help relieve the stress too. But yes, Tom Sandoval's mom also knew. And I think that's a really messed up position to put your mom in because, you know, now she's keeping this secret for her son. But I think she also knew that Tom and Ariana haven't been good for quite some time. There was like a conversation that was had, you know, Ariana hasn't come to St. Louis in years. And this isn't to excuse it either because Tom needed to like make that public that they were no longer in a relationship. But yeah, there was trouble in paradise there. That concludes my list. There's no reason to be protecting these people.
Rachel, you dum-dum. Oh my God, you dum-dum. She thought she was really doing something with that, but she just actually exposed herself and made her look worse. Number one, just her voice in general, the inflection in her voice, you could tell she was still like getting off on it. Like she was still kind of like proud of it. Like, oh my God, like his mom knew and like we were in this together. But there was a couple of factual things she said that exposes herself. Number one, she said, it was like I was his girlfriend, but obviously I wasn't. He had a girlfriend. Okay. So if you are admitting that when you were doing all this, you were not his girlfriend and you were cheating with him and he had a girlfriend, how does that coincide with your legal documentation saying that Ariana knew? How? Make that make sense. You also said, you named all these people, Kyle Chan, Ben, Logan, blah, 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 blah. You never named Ariana as someone who explicitly knew. You said you were cuddling with him in a social media room, and Logan, who is Ariana's friend, was wasted, popped in and said, oh, I don't know what's going on, and popped out. And then you said you assumed he told her. How does that translate into you having a legal document claiming that she had knowledge and that she planned it with Tom for season 11 when you just said out of your own mouth she must have maybe known, assumed, because her best friend who was drunk saw us lying next to each other fully clothed in a room in our house while they were having a party? You also said that Kyle Chan, quote, tried to talk some sense into him. So again, you were very cognizant that what you were doing was wrong and that what he was doing was wrong. So I'm very confused as to how you're trying to blame everything on Tom when you clearly knew what you were doing was wrong. You clearly knew that he had a girlfriend who was not you. And you clearly knew that his friends did not approve of it when they're trying to talk sense into him. And you clearly did not know concretely that Ariana knew. And these are the words that you just said that we just listened to. So I'm confused how you're having a whole lawsuit saying that she knew and SCANDOVAL was planned. That to me doesn't prove anything. That to me proves that she didn't know, that he was being sloppy. Also, nothing you said is new information. When SCANDOVAL hit and came out, Lala and Katie and Sheena all said that there was already speculation and gossip and rumor about you and Tom, but that nobody wanted to say anything to Ariana because she would just shut it down and be very dismissive and be in her own little bubble of denial. That's already been documented. That's already been said. So nothing you just said is new news. You're not exposing anybody. You're not dropping any bombs. You basically just blew up what you said yourself. Like, do you have an example, Rachel? Did you ever talk to Ariana yourself? And also, even the whole thing about not Burning Man, Coachella, where you said, oh, we were in the hot tub, and he said that him and Ariana had an open relationship. Whether he said that or not, you still have yet to confirm that Ariana knew he was having an open relationship with you. So I don't know who your lawyers are. I don't know where they got their legal degree from. But if I were them, I would want to go back and do some fact checking and some due diligence, because I'm not a lawyer, but I already could poke multiple holes in everything you had to say, sweetheart. I didn't hear you say Ariana knew. I heard you say Kyle knew, Max knew, his mama knew. Her friend who was wasted saw us laying on the ground fully clothed when they're all doing drugs and wasted rolling around on the floor, and he just walked out. What? And also, it's already been documented that Lala, Sheena, and Katie said that they even went to Ariana with speculation. And Ariana was like, no, shooting it down. And she basically was just like, just because you don't remember, even the season before last, when Katie was pissed about the whole Schwartz and Rachel kissing, make out story, BS storyline. And Ariana said, and again, Katie, this is why I don't know why you went into business with this woman. She doesn't like you, sweetheart. She looked Katie in her face and said, I know you don't like her, but I do. But yet now Ariana expects everybody in the world to have a problem with Tom Sandoval because she doesn't like him. But when Katie's whole husband, they were not even divorced yet, her whole husband, Katie was like, I don't want him making out with the girl in our friendship group. And Ariana looked Katie dead in her face and said, I know you don't like him, or you don't like her, but I like her. Come on now. Come on. I don't know who these lawyers are. Maybe they're looking for a money grab too. But she just said out of her own mouth on her own podcast that Ariana did not know. She assumed her wasted friend must have maybe told her. Girl. Girl. Girl, like you just said it yourself. You just said it yourself. And Kyle Chan, the reason why they don't have a problem with Kyle Chan is because Isn't he like some jewelry guy? That's a business associate. That's not a friend. That's a business associate. Because people know who they can punk. Like Ariana knows she can punk Sheena, but Ariana knows she can't punk Kyle Chan. So she's not going to punk Kyle Chan because Kyle Chan is more influential than she is. That's why at the end, that's why the season finale, they're all at his party. You know, that's why he was the one that Brock went to for Sheena's engagement ring. You know, he has more clout and money and connections. So Ariana is not gonna punk Kyle Chan because she knows she can't punk him. She's gonna punk Sheena. She's gonna try and punk Lala, but Lala's gonna punk her ass right back. You know? So that's why, you know, she's not saying, you know, it's me or him, Kyle, because she still wants something from Kyle. People know who they can punk and they know who they can't punk. That's why nobody has a problem with Kyle, because Kyle has something that they want. And when somebody has something that you want, you don't try and punk them because you don't think that they're beneath you. You only punk somebody that you think is beneath you because you think you can. So shut up, Rachel. You don't know what you're talking about. And I said it before and I'll say it again. Rachel needs to go away. She really does, because to be honest with you, I feel like Tom Sandoval attracts women who are just like him. Kristen Doty, just like him. Ariana, just like him. Rachel, just like him. I would have more of an open heart toward her if she did anything that wasn't so blatantly self-serving. And I'm not saying that she can't tell her story. I'm not saying she can't tell her experience. Obviously she can. But these ridiculous lawsuits, this self-aggrandizing podcast, it's sick. It's giving like it's like Bethany, like delusional, just regurgitating your own BS over and over and over and over and over again. It's really weird and bizarre, but it's particularly disgusting when they're talking about such real topics of like revenge porn, of, you know, mental health, of, you know, things like that, where it's like, she's like, you guys, like, he could tell his friends, but like I couldn't tell mine. You guys, that's not love. Like, shut up, Rachel. Like, just shut up. You went to this man's house. You hung out with this man's mother, having sex with him. No, and just like you said, I wasn't his girlfriend. He had one. You had no problem doing that. I don't care what that says about him. What does that say about you? There is no way on God's green earth I would go to a man's house with his mother, have sex with him when he's in a full-on relationship with another woman. You need to stop blaming everything on Tom and take accountability for yourself. And you're not a child. She's pushing 30. You're a full-on adult, sweetheart. And that's another thing. She doesn't take accountability for her own actions. This might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't think Tom Sandoval groomed her. I don't. I think she was a willing participant. I think she went happily. I think it's the convenient narrative for her now. But again, she tells on herself. The inflection, the cadence, the energetic tone she has, she still is getting off on this. I'm like, you know, I wasn't even his girlfriend, but like I was there and like Kyle Chan knew and like Max knew and like Logan, her best friend, knew. And like, I can't believe we were doing this, but like we were like in love, and she's still getting off on it. She hasn't actually, and I'm only talking about her situation because there are situations where women, men, children are manipulated and brainwashed and groomed into these situations, who do things that are unethical or non-consensual. You know what I mean? Like, there are real people who really do go through these situations. I just don't think Rachel is one of them. I think it's a convenient narrative for her. And that's what pisses me off, because I think people who are true victims of this type of manipulation, if and when they feel like going public, because nobody has to. If you're a victim of anything, you don't have to go public. You don't owe anybody your story. But if and when they do go public, usually the root of it is, I want to share what happened to me in case it helps save somebody else. But you don't get any of that with Rachel. You don't get any of that with her. It is all like, I'm going to expose these people, and Ariana knew this, and I'm going to do this lawsuit, and like, I can't believe Tom did this, and blah, 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 blah. Like, that's what you're getting from her. You don't get any of that raw, empathetic vulnerability of a victim / survivor who's like, I am bearing this in case I can save one person. That's usually the energy and the tone when people go public with their stories. That's usually what it's about. But you don't get any of that with Rachel. You don't get any of that with her. Also, the level of resentment and disdain that she still carries for Ariana. And I don't even like Ariana like that. Not personal. I mean the persona that she plays on this show, because it's not personal. I don't know her in real life. Is also very telling. Like, to me, she's still trying to one-up Ariana. She still has a little disdain towards her. And I'm like, where does that disdain come from? Because to be honest with you, Ariana was the nicest to you if she was of any woman on this show, because Tom was nice to you. And look where that got her. But there you go. So why do you have such a level of resentment and disdain for a woman whose man you were sleeping with? She acts like Ariana was sleeping with her man. That's the attitude she has. But true victims and true survivors of people who've been in manipulative, narcissistic relationships where they may have done something like, maybe they were sleeping with a man who already was in a relationship, and they did things out of character, but now they've worked on themselves and they've healed and they realized what was going on. They usually are so compassionate towards the person that they wronged, where they're like, I feel so bad for her. She was a victim too. He was controlling to her. I did something, because again, human beings, we sometimes do things out of character. We sometimes do things that aren't ethical. Doesn't make you a horrible person. Doesn't make you a bad person. People do get manipulated into situations. But usually when people are good people who do unethical things, who get out of character, they are the quote other woman, other man, whatever the case may be. When they're truly out of it and they look back on it, they like, I'm so embarrassed. I feel so ashamed. I'm so sorry to the woman that I hurt. I feel so sorry to the man that I hurt. You don't hear any of that with Rachel. Her whole narrative is about her, me, I, blame, shame. That's why I'm like, Rachel, miss me with all of this, because you might be the biggest sociopath on this entire show. Jax might need to take some notes from you. Sandoval might need to take some notes from you, because Rachel, the way you're moving, you to me are the biggest sociopath on this entire show. Entire show. You might be the biggest one. Like, for example, Kristen Doty. When she got caught, cheating with Jax on Stassi and everything, after they worked through everything, you could tell she was like embarrassed and ashamed, and she felt really bad and like all this stuff, and like try to make it up. Like, there's just things like that people do. But when they're good in their core, not every action is good, because we're human beings and we mess up. But when you're good in your core, you feel guilt. You feel bad. I don't get any of that from Rachel. She is really cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and she's a scary being. I think she's the scariest one of all of them, to be perfect with you. Because Sandoval, or Tom Sandoval, you can see through him, like, to me, he's textbook, low self-esteem, some narcissism, whatever the case. Again, I'm not a doctor, I don't diagnose, but clearly you can see through his BS a mile away. He's going to deflect. He's going to be a hypocrite. He's going to be self-righteous. He's going to be grandiose, blah, 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 blah. Like, he's textbook. You see through him a mile away. Jax, same. He's going to be grandiose. He's going to deflect, but then he'll take accountability. He'll be contrite, blah, blah, blah. Like, you see it again. Rachel, there's something else diabolical going on there with her. Something else is going on there. The disdain she still has for Ariana. Like, Ariana didn't do anything to you, boo-boo. You slept with her man, not the other way around. So, girl, she just needs to go away. She needs to go away. And she can take Leah McSweeney with her. And at this point, she can take Bethany with her too. Because Bethany, we need to do a wellness check. What is going on with Bethany? She, in my Nene voice, she done lost it. Have you guys seen her on her TikTok and her Instagram and what's going on with her child? I'm not going to speak on her child because I don't speak on people's children like that. But we need to do a wellness check on Miss Bethany, because just because you have money doesn't mean things aren't going a little left. Money doesn't buy mental stability or happiness or whatever else the case may be. But we need to do a wellness check on her, because that's a lot. But that's kind of where I land with Rachel versus Ariana. When it comes to them, I'm team Ariana all day long. I think Rachel is lying. I don't think Ariana knew. Do I think that people knew? Yes. Do I think the signs were there? Yes. Do I think Ariana knew on some type of intuitive level, like how you always know? Yes. But do I think she consciously knew? No, not at all. I think she really was blindsided about it. I think she was drinking Tom's Kool-Aid. I think she was in full denial. Did she know intuitively? Yeah, we all know things intuitively, but did she know it on a conscious level? No. Do I think SCANDOVAL was planned? No, because it was too, and another reason why I don't think it was planned, it was too seamless. It was just it just perfectly fell into place. It was too real for it to be faked. Because the shows now, you see, like, the work is showing on all the shows. The work is showing. All of the pre-planned BS, all of the fake fights and the storylines. It's so pre-planned. Like, the work is showing. I could literally write the script for the next 7 episodes because we know what's going to happen. SCANDOVAL worked too perfectly to be anything but life. Do you see? So I don't think that was planned at all. I think Rachel is just wanting her 15 minutes to continue. I think she's a bitter Betty. I think she's pissed because Bravo didn't give her the big number she wanted to come back. I think that she wants to do a big settlement payout. That's why she's suing them. I think her podcast is whack as hell. I don't personally, and I will stand 10 toes down on this, I don't think she's a victim. I think she was a willing participant, and I think she's using a very convenient narrative in order to not take accountability for her own actions, because she's not moving the way victims or survivors move. And I will stand 10 toes down on that. I don't think she's a victim of anything. I really, really don't. That's just how I feel. So I don't know what you guys think. Put it down below. Let's see. I have been talking for 2 hours. Let's see. What else? What do you guys want to talk about? Does somebody want to come? Do you guys want to come